they'll just never know when I'm going to record. I got to be like, mysterious, right? Hey, Mindy. I like your little bobbin head up there. I don't ever like just telling people, oh yeah, I'll record it, because then I would get on this call and I'd be here all by myself. So thank you guys for hopping on here. This is a champ and rising champ only call, because I wanted to talk about kind of some higher level leadership stuff. So new promoters, this wouldn't really be necessarily stuff for them yet, but it will. So what I want to talk about is just some strategic things that really we've probably talked about in the past, but we have people that are ranking up, or maybe some of us, we've had our focus somewhere else for a while and we're getting back into it. And so I think one of the things that I'm learning, having been with Prove It for 2.5 years, is that a big part of what we do is saying the same thing over and over, but we're all different. So we're hearing with different ears now. So if any of you watched my live the other day, I was talking about a call that I watched with Mel Robbins, and she was talking about changing the word have to get to. And so instead of saying, I have to take my kids to school in the morning, well, what if you replaced have to with get to? I get to take my kids to school in the morning. And honestly, when I said that to myself, I'm like, you know what? I do get to. Like, that's time, special time that I get with my kiddo to have a conversation with them, to see him smile before he walks into the school, to try to talk to him when he wants to talk to me. But it changed my perspective, and it took it all back to gratitude, right? Because when we say we have to, it puts us in a negative space. When we say I get to, it immediately puts us into a state of gratitude, because our mind says, what's so cool about getting to? So you immediately say, what's the benefit of getting to do this? Like, I have to go to work, I get to go to work. As soon as you say I get to go to work, you immediately go, oh, there's people out there that don't have a job right now. There's people out there that are struggling. I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate, right? Like, so the reason I was saying that, like this thing that I'm on right now, is because sometimes I say, oh my gosh, I have to say the same thing over and over and over 5 million times. And then I thought, I am such a turd. Like, I am a turd. I get to say the same thing over and over and over again. How freaking easy is my life? Think about it. Like, Jason and I the other day were like, well, I'm talking about diarrhea again today. I have to talk about someone's diarrhea. And then I'm like, no, I get to. Like, this is an easy question. Like, this is easy. So like, it's completely the same, right? Like, the majority of the stuff that we get hit with, you guys, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just after some of us have been doing it, like Wendy Smith's on here, Lily, like some of us have been doing this for a long time. We're like, oh my gosh, I have to say this one more time. You know what? We get to say it one more time. And I remember, and Aaron Wardlow's on here. He'll understand this better than anyone, and probably Jeremy, because I saw that it just happened at his house. But like, I don't know if you guys have ever poured concrete or been with and watched people pour concrete in the summer, like in the hot summer, watch someone pour concrete, or watch people roof a house in the summer, or pour asphalt, or dig drainage ditches, any of that stuff. I'm like, yeah, my job ain't hard. Like, what I do is not hard. Like, that's hard. This is simple. This is easy. So anyway, tonight's call, what we're going to be talking about are two things. Number one, what we're doing with our new promoters as they join our company, join our business. Oh, Wendy. Oh, bless them. Bless them. Tell them that I'm sending them lots of love and that I appreciate their hard work. I appreciate it. Oh. Brian. So we're going to be talking about our new promoters and how we get them rolling, right? And then the other one is, how do we revamp people who are in our community that maybe have lost some momentum? Okay, does that sound like good stuff to you guys? Because really that's all we got. Like other than the number one thing, which by the way, 80% of our time should be spent recruiting and only 20% of our time should be spent doing this. Actually, probably less than 20% of our time should be spent doing this stuff. Most of our time should be spent recruiting. That's why this is an upper level call. That's why this is champs and rising champs. Because if I had this phone call with brand new people coming in, all of a sudden they would take their eyes off of sharing the conversation and would put it on management. And that is not going to help any of our businesses grow. Okay. And that's the goal of this call, is to help us all get back into phase one activity. Okay, so awesome. All right. So what we're going to do, number one, is new promoters. So new promoters, first of all, let's talk about the process when they come in. Number one, you need to reach out to them. So Mindy, let's say that Lauren signs up a new promoter. That'd be great. We'd all, yay, be so excited. Okay, so Mindy's Lauren, who is direct to her, signs up a new promoter. The first thing to do is to reach out to Lauren and congratulate her and ask to be connected so that you can get her rocking and rolling. Now, we know Lauren can do that, but maybe Lauren doesn't have the same goals as you or the new promoter. And maybe Lauren, a couple of days go by, it's not really that big of a deal to her. Or she thinks, no, I got this, sister, I don't need you. Either way, she's gonna lose. And there's no reason for you to lose with her. So if your promoter doesn't connect you to a new promoter, you reach out and introduce yourself. Okay? And I'm going to tell every single one of you on this call right now, if I see a promoter that joins and I'm noticing that there is nothing happening, nobody's getting connected, nobody's getting launching, I will push you all to the side. Every single last one of you. I will push you to the side because I ain't got no use for you if you're not getting us to the next promoter. That sounds horrible. That sounds so mean, but it is in your best interest. It's in my best interest. And number one, it's the new person coming in. We need to make sure that they have every chance possible to win. Every single chance possible we want to give to them. And sometimes the people who signed them up don't have the same goals. They're casually doing, maybe they're just casual in this. Maybe it's just, which is fine. I mean, that's what's cool about our business. You can be in this business and do it casually, earn some free product, maybe $100 a month, whatever. Everything helps, right? And that's okay. But what if that new promoter signed up under someone that is casual, but that new promoter needs this? What if that new promoter is in bankruptcy? What if that new promoter is drowning in medical bills? What if that new promoter is fighting to get custody of their child? What if that new promoter's husband is dying of cancer and he doesn't have any income and she needs to make a living? I didn't make any of these scenarios up, not one of them. Every scenario I just said is a scenario that's in our community. Every single one of those scenarios I found out because I was actually on a phone call with that promoter, okay? So what if those promoters signed up under someone who is casual and didn't give them the information on how to earn their bonuses, didn't teach them how to connect, didn't explain to them about having a Keto Life mixer tasting and what that does for you, and didn't offer them things like a private guest call to invite their friends to learn about the product. Like, is that fair to the newest promoter on our community? It's not fair, right? So the reason I'm saying that is because you are all leaders. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, it will happen to you, where someone new is going to join your community and there's going to be a promoter try to block you from getting that person rocking and rolling. It's going to happen. And what I say is, you don't own that person, and this is what I would say to that blocker. You don't own that person. You don't own their business. They deserve every right that every single other person, and don't ever make an assumption. And I'm telling you guys this from my personal experience. I made an assumption when I had a new promoter join. I made an assumption that she would never do this. She didn't really want it for that. There was no reason to do a launch call. There was no reason to do any of that. And I told the leadership to leave her alone. And I was 1,000% wrong. I was 1,000% wrong. And it totally backfired on me. So every single person that joins our community deserves the best possible start. Can we all agree on that? Like, all of them do. So what does that mean? That means so for example, I was connected. So I signed up my aunt and uncle. I tell this story a lot. I signed up my aunt and uncle, Daryl and Linda Myers, who signed up Darlene, who signed up Fergie, who signed up a lady named Christy Brown. I didn't even really know Fergie. I didn't. And when I just got this little notification that this lady named Christy Brown signed, and she signed up under Fergie. So I went to Fergie's friends on Facebook and I found Christy Brown and I friended her and I sent her a private message. And I say, hey, I'm Kate. I'm in your Prove It family. I just want to welcome you. I'd love to chat sometime just to kind of get to know you and for you to know how to utilize me. And she's like, awesome. How about tomorrow? So we talked on the phone. She didn't even know this was a business. And as soon as she did, she said, hey, I know a guy. And that was David Higginbotham. But if I hadn't got on that phone call, Lily wouldn't be on here. Wendy wouldn't be on here. Like, that would be a whole part of our business that wouldn't have existed had I not reached out to Christy. Because Fergie didn't even understand. She wasn't fully in it at that time. Like, we were all so new. So take your business as your responsibility. It's your responsibility to reach out to those people. Does that make sense? Think about it this way, you guys. How many of you have conversations with Ethan? Like, raise your hand if you have conversations with Ethan. Do you guys have any idea what level you are for Ethan? Brent, do you know what level you are?
I'm pretty sure Ethan's an 8.
No, that's his rank. But do you know how far deep you are into his business?
Oh, no clue. No clue, none whatsoever.
I think you might be like level 11 or 13, somewhere in there, deep in his business.
Jeez.
Right. Yeah. And look how much time he spends with you, right? So Ethan makes no commission off of your business, Brent. Did you know that?
Correct.
He makes zero. He makes zero commission on your business. Do you know why it benefits him to be involved in your business? Why he would do that? First of all, he's just a really awesome guy, and we all love Ethan.
That's just what I've always considered.
Yeah, that's easy because Ethan just is that guy, right? He just really is. But there's a reason. I'm very far down in Dustin's business, but Dustin and I talk weekly, and he's very involved. He is my coach, right? It's not that he makes a bunch of money off of my business, because he doesn't. But here's what happens. When you work with people who want to work down deep, it anchors in the people up here. So, Brent, if your business takes off and your business is succeeding, that just cements my business in a little stronger. Does that make sense? And so that makes me not want to go anywhere because I'm solid. Do you see what I'm saying there? Like, that's really important. And of course, the other thing is our group volume helps us. But like Ethan's group volume, he would be a rank 9 right now. He's just got to work on that team volume. But yeah, so that's the reason, is because it anchors people in. So for example, when I reached out to Christy Brown and then started working with the Higginbothams, what did that do for Fergie and Darlene? Because they were not like in it at that point. They were not solid like they are now. is because I dug in there and started creating some like sticky glue, some stability in their business. And then that brought them in. And so then they started building outside of that. Does that make sense, you guys? So just keep that in mind. There's many reasons why we want to reach out to new promoters, no matter what level they're on, and get them involved and get them rolling into the business. So the first thing that we do when a new promoter joins is we want to reach out to them. We want to introduce ourselves and welcome them. Always go through the person who referred them first. But if you get blocked, you go introduce yourself. There's nothing wrong with introducing yourself. It's not being pushy. It's not being weird. Someone just joined a network marketing company. They know what's up, okay? It ain't no secret. Like that's what it is, okay? So you always want to welcome them. Be kind. Just think about it this way. You are basically like the first impression of the company, because typically it's their friends that introduced them. They don't see their friend as prove it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'll take, for example, one of my direct promoters is my dentist. When she sees me, she's known me for 15 years. When she sees me, she doesn't see me as prove it. She sees me as like Kate, that like our kids have grown up together, and she's seen me in really ugly faces, and she doesn't see me as prove it. But when Dustin talks to her, she sees prove it. You guys get what I'm saying? So when we're reaching out to new promoters, we want to make sure that I want you all to be aware that you are like the face. Like you are the face. You are the voice of our company. You are that first impression. So we want to be kind. We want to be welcoming. We want to work to their pace, because when we first meet them, we don't know what their goals are. We don't know. And we don't want to immediately go, so what are your goals? Like, you want to make $10,000? Awesome. Like, because most people, that's not their goal. Most people, 80% of the people that join our business are looking to make $0 to $500 a month. Okay. So keep that in mind. And that's what the majority of our business is made up of. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to reach out. We're going to welcome. The next thing we want to do as fast as humanly possible is get them to go fast. The go fast start, what is it? Go fast, prove it now, go fast, whatever. Get them that video as soon as possible and tell them don't touch a thing in your back office. Because how many of you, we had a new promoter just this week. I literally talked to her. I did the opportunity call. She signed up that afternoon. I sent the little blurb of like, don't push your go button and tell somebody. She's like, oh, too late. What? Like, she signed up as a promoter, and like 5 minutes later, her sister-in-law signed up as a customer under her. Like, we didn't even get to her fast enough. Like, that stuff happens. And so now her sister-in-law's order won't count towards that bonus, right? It happens. And by the way we handle it, the way we handle that is the way they're going to handle it. I said, oh, no big deal. It's not a big deal. You'll still make commission off of it. You'll still earn, that'll go towards your free product. No big deal. Now, if I had been like, oh my God, then she would have freaked out, right? So keep in mind, we control the emotions, right? So we want to get them that information. We want to get them that video. That's numero important, okay? The next thing that we want to do is schedule their new welcome call. A new welcome call does not have to be with a champ or a pro champ. It doesn't have to be. I would just kind of think about what it does have to be with. People who can do new welcome calls just need to be people with 100% certainty. You're not having to talk them off a ledge all the time. They're not sitting around going, ooh, I don't know if this is really a thing. I don't know if we should really be doing this. Those people should not do a new welcome call. Ever, ever, ever. You got it? That's why champs and pro champs are typically the ones who do new welcome calls, because we just have a really high level of certainty. But that doesn't mean that it has to be. Like, Wendy Smith could do a new welcome call any day of the week. I would put one of my new promoters on a call with her to welcome them any day. any day. I know she can handle herself and she will do us all super proud. Like she's solid, right? Now, if I were thinking of like someone who, they just came in last month. Okay, here's something. And rank doesn't matter. Like rank does not matter. Because you can have someone who came in last month and they are a rank 3 this month, which we do. Like we have people who are rank 3s right now. They just joined. They're not ready to do a new welcome call, right? Like, no. Because they're going to get hit with questions they're not going to know the answer to. So rank doesn't matter. Level of certainty does. Does that make sense, everybody? That's who should be doing your new welcome calls. You should never, ever, ever do a new welcome call for your own promoter. Anybody know why?
Too close to them?
Yeah, you're too close. Like you're too familiar. You're usually too familiar. And second of all, we're trying to train them, right? We're trying to train them to connect. So that's like their first training. If you haven't already connected them, that's one of the things. Also, this is one of the things that I love, is it shows that new promoter the level of community that we have. How we have so many people that we can reach out to and support them. Okay, let's see. Wendy, I see you. I got you. We're recording, Wendy Smith, so don't worry. You see that little recording button up there. Is this the son that also pours concrete and stuff? No? Okay. Okay, so in that new welcome call, there's going to be some things that we're going to want to put them into action, right? Like that's the thing we want to do with a new promoter, is to immediately put them into action. The worst thing that we can do with a new promoter is add them to a bunch of groups and tag them in a bunch of videos, because then they're going to spend the next week watching videos and thinking that they actually did something. They really didn't do jack. None of those videos are really going to help them build a business. Teaching them how to understand the compensation plan is not going to help them get their bonuses, right? They can do that if they want, but we're not going to like say, oh, you definitely need to read this first, or you definitely need to watch this video first. We're also not immediately going to add them to our message threads. I know y'all have them. Please don't add me to them, because my messenger already looks like it's ridiculous. But many of us have message threads for our team, and that's totally fine. That's cool. Don't immediately add your new promoter to those message threads. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, again, they're going to get overwhelmed. Second of all, they could get annoyed. Especially if you guys have message threads that once you've been in for a while and you understand our culture, you kind of like all the videos and the congratulations and like all the love, like people start to get it. But early on, when people are still in between nervous and scared, it can be overwhelming for them to throw them in those message threads. Also, you can't control what people say in message threads. And what happens if maybe someone got the wrong box of product and it's one of your people on your team that is always looking like everything that can negatively go wrong always goes wrong with that one person, and you just want to say, hello, like attracts like it's always that one person. But if you put a brand new person in a message thread and that negative person has something go wrong that next day and they start blasting in there, I can't believe, prove it, they make so much money, why don't they have this, and why don't we blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, and you can't control that, all of a sudden you have a new promoter that is like, what did I just do? Does that make sense, you guys? So I would say with your message threads, maybe wait till they're in a few weeks before you add them to that. Give them a chance just to be a promoter and run. And how you're going to do that is give them activities. Because if you put them in a message thread, if you tag them in all these videos, they're going to spend all their time reading through all that, all their time watching videos, thinking that they actually did work that day. Do you know that's why they stopped doing the huddle calls? How many of you guys remember Michael Rutherford's daily huddle calls? It was back in the day. Do you know why they stopped doing huddle calls? They found out because so many people in our industry, they only have maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day to work their business. Those calls were 30 minutes to an hour a day. People would listen to the huddle call and felt like they worked on their business that day. And so that's why they stopped doing it, because it was giving people an excuse not to go into activity. It made them feel like they were doing something even though they weren't. It gave them an excuse not to actually talk to people about the conversation. Does that make sense? Okay, so activities. Activities is going to be based on their gift zone. I just did a new welcome call for one of our promoters tonight, and the questions I asked is, where do you feel the most comfortable? What do you consider your gift zone? Do you think it's social media, or do you feel like it's more in person? And she said, definitely more in person. I like to talk to people face to face. I'm like, awesome. Then I asked her what she did, where she worked, how many people she encounters. Because if she says her favorite thing is in person, but she only sees like one person a day and it's her dog, might have a challenge there that we have to overcome. That would be me. My dog. So she works at a bank, which that was good, and people were able to see a lot of things. So I felt like the best course of action for her was to immediately schedule a tasting. And so her referrer was on the call, and this is what I said, because we put them into activity and we make sure that there is accountability to that activity. So I said, I want you guys to schedule your Keto Life party and send me a message and let me know when it is. That way they have some accountability. Does that make sense? Other than just saying, okay, so schedule a Keto Life party, because you know it ain't ever going to get done unless you attach some accountability. So, and this poor girl, like, she's probably terrified of me, because literally while I was talking to her, I was getting texted by the CEO. So she was probably like, who am I talking to? So for sure, she gonna let me know when she has a Keto Life party scheduled, for sure. And so then I said, here's the thing, that's your gift zone. Like, that's where you feel comfortable. You like that belly to belly. You like being able to look people in the eye. That is your comfort zone. And I said, and it's good that you identify that, because a lot of people, that is their comfort zone, but they're scared of it. So they use social media instead. Social media, which it's great, I'm not saying that it's not, but most people use social media as a crutch because it puts a barrier between you and another person. Because what's our biggest fear? Rejection. Rejection's our biggest fear, and a computer screen separates us from that rejection versus face-to-face, right? So a lot of people use social media as a crutch. Use it as a tool, not a crutch. This business needs to be built both ways. So we tell him to schedule a Keto Life party. We talk to him about social media, and here's what I tell him. I'm like, even though this area is your gift zone, we don't want you to stop using this other one, because they're both very powerful. Put most of your energy where your gift zone is. So if you're strong in social media, use it. Pour fuel on that fire. But you still need to do a Keto Life party. If you love face-to-face, you love doing events, you love doing booths, you love all of that, awesome. Do more and more and more of that. But you still got to do some social media. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay, so when it comes to social media, never let them write their own curiosity post. And the other thing is, a new promoter, and honestly, I'm in the mindset now where even if you guys are noticing with me, I don't use the word prove it or keto nat on Facebook anymore. Definitely don't knock the feet out from under your new promoter and allow them to say prove it or keto nat on a brand new post, because you literally just took sales away from them when you did it. You took conversations away 100%. 100% you took conversations away. Because as soon as someone sees the word prove it, as soon as someone sees the word keto nat or any of that, they're going to go to Google, they're going to go to eBay, they're going to go to Amazon, they're going to go wherever to find out what it is. And that new promoter will never even know that their neighbor Sally was ever interested. Will never even know. So she can't even start a conversation with that person. So in my opinion, like I rarely say the word of the name of the company or the product. And the reason is, yeah, do most of my Facebook friends know? But if you're doing your DMOs like I am and I'm adding new people all the time on Facebook, I posted a before and after picture today and 2 people responded that had no idea what I was doing. Yes. Yes. Score. Like that is a winner chicken dinner right there, right? Because that is 2 brand new conversations that I get to have. Brand new people that I just recently added on Facebook. And I'm like, yeah. But if I just assumed that everybody already knew what I was doing, I'm the cat's out of the bag, I might as well say prove it, or I might as well say keto nat, and I posted that, those people would have never reached out to me, right? Like it's just, I mean, I can't say they would never, but they don't have a compelling reason to, because I gave them everything. Like I'm like the girl on the first date that just totally put out. Like the guy didn't have to buy me dinner or anything. Sorry, Miss Marcia. I'm so sorry. The little grandma's on here. It's so bad, so vile. Okay, so the curiosity post, the Keto Life Party. The next thing we're going to do for a new promoter coming on, every single one. So when I first started this, we had this mindset that you only offer this to certain new promoters. We only offer this to people who have big goals and want to build a big business or have a lot of contacts. And then now the mindset, we think about it, is like, why are we withholding this particular activity away from anyone? We're going to offer every single new promoter the opportunity to have their own private guest call. Their own private guest call. We used to call them business launch calls. This is a guest call. A guest call is them inviting people. I tell them, no less than 2, no more than 5 people on this call. I have Thursday at 7 o'clock or Saturday at 6 p.m. You tell me what works best for you. We're going to send you the phone number and you get them on this call. And you're going to interview me or ask me questions. I'll give you the list of questions. Or if they're too freaked out about that, I say you don't have to do anything. I'll handle it all. But what you want to do when you have them do that, you have to give them the exact language. This is the missing piece that I see happening with a lot of our new promoters is we say, okay, well, let's do a private guest call. Just invite some of your friends to be on the call. Here's the number. And that's all we do. And these people are like, I have no idea what to say. I don't know what to do. Write it out. Just like how many of you guys have been on one of the power hours? How many of you been on a power hour? See, before hour, like when we do those, I type out exactly what to say to invite to a call or to send a message or whatever. And then I copy and paste it into the chat. Y'all are leaders. Y'all are the mama. The new promoter's the baby. She don't know how to wipe her butt yet. She doesn't know. She doesn't know, right? We have to do that for them. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So write the language for them. Baby step them. If they're like, I don't know who to invite, help them come up with a list. Let them know, hey, you know what? You're probably going to have to invite 20 people to get 5. If they invite 20 people and 20 people show up to the call, what does that tell you as their leader? Green M&M all day long. All day long. Whitley has a new promoter. We did this with her, and I'm like, do you think you could get some people on a call? Yeah, I think I could. She had 25 people on her guest call. You think she hit MVP? She totally hit MVP. So, and that's one of the things too, I think Lacey and I had talked about this. Some of us have talked about this, that we see a trend. The new promoters who do these guest calls hit MVP almost every single time. That's how powerful these guest calls are. Just imagine, like, just think, like, you guys have all listened in on those guest calls, right? Like, just think what would happen if you're brand new and none of your friends and none of your family have ever heard this and you got them on those calls, how powerful that would be to you starting out. I mean, in this, like, the very first new guest call I ever did was for Kara Sambuco, who is a rank 7 in our business. She got 5 people on that call. 4 of them ended up becoming promoters. One of them's almost a rank 7 now, right? So, like, keep that in mind. Those are really powerful. So that's the new promoter process, right? The next thing I want to talk about is revamping a current promoter. Like, this could be you, by the way. This can totally be any of you on this call. This could be me. This could be anyone. There's no rule. There's no, oh, you have to have been dormant or nothing. There's no rule. This is just for someone who's like, you know what? I really feel like I need a relaunch. Like, I really want a do-over. Okay? And that could be anyone. And here's my thought to you. If you guys know, because here's what I've realized. There are some people in our community, obviously none of them are on this call, who have fallen off. And do you know why they've actually fallen off the business? It's because they fell off their diet. They fell off the product, and they don't feel comfortable sharing because they don't feel confident in themselves. They're disappointed in themselves. They feel down about themselves. And the last thing they can do is put on a face about, oh my gosh, Keto Nat's so awesome, because they feel disappointed in themselves. So if you feel like you have people like that in your community, it's okay to reach out to them and say, look, like, I don't know if you know what your situation is, where you're at, if you've fallen off. Like, there's no judgment at all. Like, it's, I'm just here to support you. There's no judgment. If you ever want to relaunch your business, let me know. I can give you some step-by-step tools to help you do that. I'm here for you whenever you need me. Does that make sense? Or if you're talking to someone and, whatever reason they've had that they've fallen off or lost momentum, because when people first join, a lot of times they get early on momentum because they have a lot of low-hanging fruit. They have a lot of low-hanging fruit. And then the low-hanging fruit is gone. And then you got to start actually working for it. Just letting you know, those of you who want to be rank 7, when you are rank 7 and above, you have to get 1,000 in new volume every month. Every month. I see everybody's new volume. We have champs that get 0 new volume in a month. Champs that are getting 0 new volume. And they want to hit rank 7. And I'm like, oh, brother, sister, it's going to be hurting for you if you don't figure out how to do this now, because you've got to get that new volume. The reason for that, just to let you guys know, there's a reason, and I actually agree with it. Because when you hit rank 7 and above, you start earning company profit sharing. That's a big deal. But Prove It does not want, and that's how you earn it. Like, to get that company profit sharing, you have to get that new volume. Prove It is like this. If you're not building, if you're not participating, you don't get that profit sharing. You can get your commissions and all of that, but you're not actively participating in building this month's business. So that is their way of saying, if you want it, you gotta still be in it. You can't just build a business and then retire and sit back and get all that profit sharing. Does that make sense? Okay, so revamping. We're going to, and you guys might even make a list of people in your community that you think might want a revamp. And here's how I would approach it. If you have anybody who's a little prickly with you, maybe they're feeling like they're just not feeling the love, I want you to look yourself in the mirror and eat a big old piece of humble pie. A huge, big piece, this big, of humble pie. And I want you to look at that person and say, you know what? I am here to admit and realize that maybe I wasn't there to support you. And I want you to know that I'm learning and growing through this whole process. If you would like to relaunch or revamp, I would love to support you in that. But if we approach people and we use the words you, people feel attacked. But if we say we together, they feel like it's more like this. But it's sometimes hard for us to do because we all have an ego. None of us want to feel responsible for anyone losing momentum. And we don't have that kind of power. I don't have the power to make or break anyone's business at all. But I certainly don't want to be a part of making them not feel welcomed or making them not feel supported. And again, I don't really think you can make people feel some way, but you smell what I stepped in right there. Right, Mindy? So I would just say, if you've got people in your community, like, reach out to them, eat some humble pie, and just say, you know what, I'm learning. I don't know what I'm doing. But if you want to revamp, if you want to relaunch, I would love to work with you because I think that you have so much value. We all love you. You add so much to the community. You have so much ability to change lives and make a difference in your life and others. So that's how I would approach that. So how are we going to revamp them? Number one, ask them if they would like to have their own private guest call. Their own private guest call. How many of you would feel comfortable doing a guest call? Brent, with your little T-Rex arms over there. I know Scott and Lacey have done them. Lily, totally. Angie, Wendy.
Isn't it all about being uncomfortable anyway?
You love the getting uncomfortable. So awesome. I know Lauren and John have done them before. Mindy, you and Terry, I would say you guys would do really well together doing those too. I think that you guys just are a really good pair. I just love you guys. And so, Angie, I'm going to make you do mine. She's like, no, I'm not doing it. If y'all don't know, Angie's still like challenging to get her. She has her words. You have them, don't you, Angie? And they're way better. Like, she's doing so much better. Like, she always leaves voice memos, which I think is so brave. First of all, Angie, that you do voice memos. But I can tell by listening to your voice memos over the last couple of months how much better you're getting and putting your words together. So, but I would recommend offering them a private guest call. And here's the thing, if you have a couple of people, like let's say you have a couple of people on your team that want to do it, maybe do their guest call together. Like, it doesn't have to just be one. So maybe there's a couple of them that you can group together and do it that way. That's okay. That's totally okay. And you guys, a guest call doesn't have to be like some, perfect thing. It really doesn't. Because actually, the more perfect you are, the less replicatable you are. And that's where I'm challenged now, because I've been doing it so much. I've done them so many times that I feel like you guys listen to me and you think you have to sound as polished as I do when I do them. And the truth is, you don't. Like, some of you remember when I first did a huddle call. My first huddle call, I was muted for the first 5 minutes. Yeah. And then the second one, I totally forgot to record. Michael Rutherford's like, where's the recording? I'm like, I hit the record button. He's like, well, apparently you didn't. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, like, the only reason that I've gotten better at it is because people make me do it over and over and over. Like, Michael and Dustin would call me. Like, some of you know, like Lauren probably knows, Lily probably knows, like, they would literally call me 5 to 10 minutes before the huddle call and say, hey, we can't do the huddle call. Can you do the huddle call? What am I going to say? No. Like, I'm not going to say no. Wendy Wellington and me, like, we're the same. Like, we don't ever say no. We're like, yeah, sure. So you get on the huddle call and you just do it. It wasn't great. It wasn't perfect, but I did it. And you know what it did? It built my muscles. Built my muscles and helped me get better and better and better at it. So I want you to remember that nobody expects you to be perfect, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Don't get analysis paralysis. Like Jason, sometimes when you guys put him into messages, he immediately feels this pressure that if he doesn't say the right thing, you're going to lose a customer. That like the customer is going to say, I'm out of here. That guy is blah. And like he has that fear. And I'm like, look, you're not that powerful, first of all. And second of all, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Like if that person wants it and they really like they're looking to feel better, unless you just totally told them to screw off or something, you really can't screw it up that bad, right? So I would challenge, hold on just a second. Because I like to see who's all on the call. I would like to challenge all of you that are on this call right now to either host your own call, which host means you're inviting people, but you have a leader, or do one for someone on your team, or help them arrange it. Like if Angie can't actually do one, you know what she can do? She can go and help some promoters on her team put it together. She can totally come up with the language to help them invite to it. She can totally set up the link. She can have Darlene or I on there to do the validating. Does that make sense, Angie? But she can still support her team in putting that together. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, like these guest calls, like that, I'm seeing it over and over, like the teams that are popping and the teams that aren't. The teams that are really popping are doing these guest calls consistently. Here's another thing. So for someone who wants to relaunch Keto Life Party that they do on their own. So what does that mean? That means that Ida's going to host her Keto Life Party on her own. She's not going to host one and invite all her promoters so they can invite all of their people. Because then what happens is Ida, because I know her well enough to know, she's going to be more concerned about her promoters' people and her promoters getting people there than she is herself getting people there. Because I know you all have these huge hearts and you start thinking about everybody else's people, but you have to be 80% of our business of what we do needs to be recruiting personally. Okay? So Ida needs to have her own Keto Life Party. And you know what that's going to do to Ida's promoters if she does her own? That's going to inspire them to do their own. Right? We do to teach. Do things because it teaches people. Like Wendy Wellington, how many things do you see me do that you learn from versus hear me say that you learn from?
Oh, I do everything that you do all the time. I'm always watching you.
And that's, you guys, everybody's watching you. Everybody's watching you. You might not think that they are, but they are. Like Michelle, your team's watching you. Like they are. Like they see you. It doesn't matter if we see ourselves as a leader or not. It doesn't matter. They see you as a leader. And what you do, they're going to say, oh, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I should do that. So it's so powerful. And that's really all our business is replication. Replicate, replicate, replicate. Just do things that replicate. So host your own party and then have that promoter write a curiosity post and send it to you. And kind of like, I think some of us start to get lazy in our curiosity posts. So with the curiosity post, like have them like send you a few. Come up with a plan of when you're gonna post these. What are some Facebook Live topics that you can do? I don't know if you guys noticed, I went through like a 14-day challenge where I did a Facebook Live every day for 14 days. Not one of those lives was about ketones. ever. But I got so much attraction from those videos. So many conversations were started because of those videos. So much positive energy was created because of those Facebook Live videos. You guys get what I'm saying? So I think that's all. I think that's all that I have. So that's new promoter stuff, revamp or relaunch, whatever you want to call it. But I think we just want to make sure, we want to give everybody a chance to win, right? Like we just want to give everyone a chance to really win at this. So those are the things that I recommend. If you need someone to do a call, like what do I want to say? A guest call, like a private guest call. I don't mind doing them, but I will tell you that, so they're all done in the evenings, right? They're all done in the evenings. And typically my evening time slots are very, very, very booked. So if you want me to do a private, like business launch, like not business, I gotta get into the language, the guest call, we need to have at least 5 people on that call. So if that means that if they don't think they're going to be able to get 5, you might want to group some people together. But I'm going to want to have at least 5 people on that call for me to get on and do that. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. I'm getting spread a little thin. I don't know why I'm doing the chicken dance here. I have no idea. Losing my mind. It's getting late. It's 9:24. Okay, you guys, we've been on here for almost an hour. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to throw out there? Please don't ask me anything about like when a flavor is going to drop, because I love that you guys think that I know these things, but I swear I don't know anything. But it's really sweet. Like, appreciate that. Cool beans. Also, if you guys, yeah, right.
I have a question.
Swiss Cacao is available if you're a Starship customer. Yes, Miss Lacey.
So I know you were saying that you're spread thin and stuff. Is there a way to, I don't know, I guess maybe it's just going to take us listening to you do them over and over for us to be able to get prepared to be able to do those types of things for our promoters instead of having to. Not, I mean, like if you're
like
not
the guest calls.
Mm-hmm. But I know, like,
do you know how I learned how to do guest calls? No? Okay. So I learned how to do guest calls because I was a promoter who had a lot of friends and family that did not live in my town. And so the only way for them to find out about, like really learn about the product was a Zoom call. So I was hosting at least 2 a week the first, you guys know I hit rank 6 in 45 days. This is how I did it. I was hosting these Zoom calls a couple of times a week. And Ryan, it was always Ryan Craddock was my expert. And I would have a list of questions. He always knew the questions ahead of time. And I would just ask him the questions. And he did all the answering. Then I started realizing, okay, I'm probably going to have to do this for other people at some point. So then what I started, Ryan and I talked, and I said, hey, can you and I do it together this time? Like, can I answer some questions and you answer some questions? And then afterwards, will you critique me and let me know what I need to improve on? So that's where we went to. Then we went to someone else hosted. I was the speaker. Ryan was on the call, and he critiqued me afterwards so that I could learn from it. And then he was gone, and I never needed to do that. So I learned how to do it because I hosted them. How many of you guys have you've hosted a product call for you or your team and had a leader on there be the expert? Okay, not very many. So like, and it, you know, There's no reason. There's no reason. Like, you can do that anytime you want. Like, if you've got a leader, Mindy and Terry, you guys could do it together. You can have me on there. You can have Jason on there. All you got to do is say, hey, are you available Thursday at 7:30 for a product call? Like, that's it. Like, that's all you got to do. The questions, we literally have a set of questions. It's not hard. It's like, what are ketones? You know, why does it help with fat loss? Like, it's so simple. It's not really hard, but if you don't do them yourself, how would you ever teach someone else? That's this entire business. This entire business is learn, teach, learn, teach, learn, teach, learn, teach. So we ourselves need to be doing it. Like, I'm doing one tomorrow night. Wendy is doing it with me so that there's another voice, and I'm doing it for the whole team. You guys can do the same thing for your team. But what I find is everyone just sits around and waits for me to do it. Is that what a rhino would do? Or is that what a cow meandering in the field would do? Oh, Jason goes, oh, that was mean. I know. I'm like, they know I love them. It's just a little punch love. That's what we call it, punch love. But, like, think about it. Like, how many of you guys sit around and you're just like, well, Kate'll do that, and we don't have to. Kate'll do that. Kate'll do that. Really? Like, and then we want to say that we're all rhinos, and yeah, I read rhinoceros success, and I got rhinos on my shirt and rhinos on my cup. But I'm going to wait for Kate to do that because that sounds scary. No, that's not what a rhino does. That's what a cow does. You guys get it? Going to buy rhino pajamas and send them to everybody so you can feel what it's like to literally have rhino skin, because she bought me these rhino jammies. I love them. They're so soft. So anyway, I want you guys to think that. Like, I don't want to shame anybody because I know it's not comfortable for everyone, but the thing is like, even if you're not the one talking on the call, you setting up the call is just as valuable. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be you interviewing me. It doesn't have to be you being the expert for your team, but set it up. Contact a leader. All of them are literally sitting around saying, well, I mean, nobody's using me right now. Like, I guess nobody's working their business. Nobody needs me because we're not getting asked to do any of that stuff. Like, do you know, I get it the same thing. I get the same kind of crap. Like, Michael and Dustin and BU send me messages like, well, I haven't heard from you in a while. How come you're not using it? I'm like, yeah, they're right. So, you know, I get called out on that too. So think like that. Like, what would a rhino do? We want to call ourselves a rhino? Like, then let's be one. Okay, Cindy's puppy is super cute. I love it. Oh, I love puppies. Oh, Mindy, I saw you got a new grand puppy. So cute. Okay, you guys, I'm not going to keep you any longer. It is now exactly 1 hour, and you know I don't want to keep you past that. So tomorrow night, there is a guest call. Wendy, it's in your Pulse app. It's on our keto team. Send it to the team. Make sure your teams have it, especially your new people. Especially your new people. Because remember, new promoters and new customers. Because here's the thing. Not only do we talk about the product, you guys, if you're on a product call with me, you get hit more with the opportunity on my calls than you will the product, right? Like, I hit opportunity hard, not in a weird, pushy, salesy way, but like, this is a real legit business and it's available to you if you want it. So that's why it's important to have current, like, new customers on there so that they can learn more about the business and the community. Does that make sense? Lacey, your entire new leg, like, they should all be inviting to this call tomorrow night. Cool. All right. Okay, guys, I will talk to you later. Reach out to me if you need anything. Otherwise, I'll see some of you on much love. I'll see some of you on the call tomorrow night. But challenge is now made. I would like everyone to send me when they're doing their product call, or their team's doing a product call, or just the next product call on your schedule that's not mine. Bye.